Hey cruisers, welcome back to our weekly vlog. We are in our original set. I know lately we've been doing our Q&As and our other little set, but we wanted to get over here because you know what's coming, right? Vlogtoberfest is coming. We are getting started this Thursday with our kickoff episode, and Friday night is our first live stream. So you'll want to mark your calendars. Join us at 5:30 Pacific time, Friday, October 2nd. That's 8:30 Eastern time for our first Q&A. We're going to be releasing our calendars very frequently on social media, so make sure you're following us on Instagram, Facebook, anywhere you'd like, even here on YouTube in the community tab. We'll certainly keep you posted. Today, we have a special Q&A episode for you. These questions come from the graduates of our Intro to Cruising Masterclass. And to line up with Vlogtoberfest, if you're interested in joining the CruiseTipsTV Academy, we have a very special discount code for you. We want to make our class accessible to anyone who possibly wants the information, so we're making it very affordable. Check it all out in the description of this video. So our students and our coaches asked us some great questions, and we are going to do our best to answer them. We don't have all the answers, but we like to give it a try. And in some cases, we're going to be asking you for some advice today. So listen up and get ready to type into those comments. Our first question comes from Cheryl M. She said, do you think all the major cruise lines post-pandemic will still be around, or will we see some casualties? Well, Cheryl, I do think that all of the major mass market cruise lines are going to make it. I really do. As long as when cruising restarts, we have a successful restart and we don't have any setbacks. I think some of the cruise lines that are at risk could be the luxury lines where the demographic is older, and some of those passengers may be a little bit reluctant to cruise for a while. But you know, so far everyone seems to be faring pretty well, at least the North American luxury lines. So we'll certainly see what happens, but it's a great question. I think we're going to be getting some big news this week as well from the CDC about whether the no sail order is going to be extended or whether they're going to allow it to expire, and that may be very telling for how the cruise industry is going to do. Erica B said, what is the first thing you'll do when you get back on your first cruise post-pandemic? Well, Erica, I plan to cry. Honestly, I think that's probably inevitable. When I think about my foot stepping over, from the gangway onto the ship, I get choked up just thinking about it. When I think about standing on my balcony for sail away, I get choked up just thinking about it. But I'm going to tell you kind of philosophically what the first thing I'm going to do is. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a deep breath and I'm going to appreciate it. I'm going to appreciate it more than I ever have, more than I've appreciated travel in my entire life. We've been through a few recessions. We remember what it was like to travel post 9/11. And these things take time to recover from. But one thing that truly happens is you gain a new appreciation for your freedom to travel, and life in general. So after I cry, I will be appreciating it so much. Stephen Roth said, do you think that cruise lines will be able to install medical-grade air filtration systems across all ships in their fleets prior to the resumption of cruising? Well, Stephen, there's kind of a few questions there. What has happened this past week, and if you go listen to our podcast, Cruise Tips TV Unplugged, on Wednesday, September 30th, you're going to hear us talk about these filtration systems. The Healthy Sail Panel and also CLIA have recommended that cruise lines do install medical grade air filters, a specific type of air filter on their ships. There are limitations though when it comes to the age of the ship, the existing HVAC and filtration systems, and all kinds of other infrastructure issues. But it is being recommended that moving forward, that this is a key strategy for the cruise industry, and we personally here at Cruise Tips TV believe that it is a critical strategy for improving cruising as we know it. Cruising is already so incredibly safe. It's already so incredibly regulated, so much more than really any other travel and tourism industry sector. But if the cruise lines can improve the safety of the air that we breathe and stop viruses from circulating through a ship, because we now know that that is how we have more transmission on ships than some other areas, it's going to be critical for the future of cruise travel. So Stephen, it has been proposed that that is what happens. And I believe that There will be certain cruise lines that embrace this very fully. I believe Royal Caribbean is leading the way with this. Princess has also mentioned that they have a strategic plan to do this, and I think we're going to hear a lot more about it. So, good question. Paula Blair Robbins had some great questions that she brought up, and I want to just answer a few of them. She said, deciding what the right time of year is best to sail. What makes one particular time frame better than another? Sailing during hurricane season, advantages, disadvantages. Paula, we have created a whole series for you and for people who have questions about this. So during Vlogtoberfest, we have a whole week dedicated to what we call the best and worst times to cruise to Mexico, Alaska, and the Caribbean. Your answers are coming. Stay tuned. I promise you're going to love that series. Paula also asks if it's better to stick with one cruise line and build loyalty points or try different lines. We want you guys to go back and listen to our podcast, Cruise Tips TV Unplugged, last week's episode, so middle September, full entire episode dedicated to this topic. Another question from Paula. When you're new or fairly new to cruising, what is the best way to determine where you want to cruise? Well, depends on where you live. If you're based in the United States, I'll just get right out there and be honest with you. If you live in the western half of the United States, might be a good idea to try the Mexican Riviera or a Caribbean cruise out of Galveston or something like that on your half of the country. If you live on the eastern side, from kind of the center of the country over, you might want to try the Caribbean. Short flight, you can get over there. But honestly, just about anything is up for grabs. Maybe you live in the Pacific Northwest and you don't want to fly and you can cruise to Alaska. It just depends on your tastes, if you want to fly or not. Maybe you want to do a home port cruise. Maybe you want to drive for your first cruise. We like to encourage people, if they just don't know, if they have no idea, and they live in the US, I would say try the Caribbean first and then take it from there. Either the Western or the Eastern Caribbean are great starter cruises, but that's just some food for thought. Scott Kaler said, should you have an itinerary change due to the pandemic, will travel insurance cover money invested for excursions or sailing that is cut short? Well, Scott, this is a maybe kind of an answer. This is very tricky because travel insurance is very nuanced, and the things that they will cover and not cover really depend. Now, if your sailing is cut short, entirely cut short, your travel insurance might cover it. But typically speaking, the cruise lines don't cut things short. They just change your itinerary. And when they change your itinerary, if the length of the cruise remains the same, travel insurance typically does not cover that. So you asked if it will cover money invested in excursions. One thing I would say, Scott, is that you shouldn't book an excursion that doesn't give you all your money back if there is a cancellation or your itinerary is cut short. Most excursion providers, if your ship does not dock, will not charge you. They will give you your deposit back and they will not ask for the rest of your money. So you shouldn't need your insurance for that. Hopefully. I know that was a nebulous question, but the way that travel insurance is going to be moving forward is very, very difficult. One thing that we are recommending and that our travel agency partner is recommending to everyone right now is that you secure a cancel for any reason travel insurance policy, because then you'll get a bigger refund if anything happens and you just have more coverage. So I highly recommend that you take that approach. Billy Pate Clark is sailing on Sky Princess in September 2021 out of New York and wants to know when they can find out which port they'll sail out of, Manhattan or Brooklyn. Wondering how early Billy will know. So Billy, there's this website called nycruise.com. Keep an eye on it. Right now they don't have schedules for which where you're docking, but they'll probably bring them back soon. Another thing to do is to watch the detail of your itinerary on the cruise line website. Your embarkation port should show up there eventually. My third bit of advice for you would just be simply call the cruise line and ask them now if they know. They may actually already know, but not have it listed for you. Vicky McCron-McCree said, do you feel that guests will book into the Haven and Yacht Club ship within a ship concepts more? My thinking is that you can enjoy everything a ship has to offer, yet you can be a bit more secluded during mealtimes, etc. Vicky, 100% yes. I think those ship within a ship concepts are going to definitely become considerations for people who possibly did not consider them previously, and for very good reason. I know for us, we'll certainly want to check into those types of things a little bit more. I think it'll be more appealing to us to have a little more privacy, a little more space, and to feel a little bit less crowded, to feel like we're sharing common areas with fewer people. Of course, not everyone will be able to afford it, so I think people might be a little bit more apt to look at balconies these days, but I think that there is absolutely good reason to believe that that is going to happen. Those are all of our questions for this week. Special thanks to our students and coaches. Be sure that if you want to join that group of awesome graduates, there's well over 1,000 students in our class. Check out the discount in the description of this video. So Vlogtoberfest is coming, guys. It's coming this week. We're gonna do a kickoff recorded episode on Thursday. Watch for that. That's October 1st. Friday night, come join us. Please come join us at 5:30 Pacific time for a live stream. We can answer cruise questions. We can just hang out. We wanna have a huge turnout. Our goal is to have over 1,000 people at our live stream on Friday night. Would you join us, and would you be one of those 1,000 people and come show us the love at CruiseTipsTV? Thank you so very much for watching. Give us a like before you go. And until next time, we'll see you on the high seas.